Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the football betting series here on YouTube. Last season we banked some profit, so this season I'm going to be raising the stakes. Last year a full stake was £40 and a half stake was £20. I'm going to be kicking things up just a little bit. The 25-26 season we're going to have £50 as a full stake and £25 as a half stake. But that is just what I'm doing. Please only risk what you can afford to lose and always gamble responsibly. Without further ado, let's get into this breakdown of the CommunityShield match between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. The Eagles of South London are taking part in the curtain raiser match following their FA Cup victory back in May. Ekitike Eze scored the only goal in the game in a 1-0 win over Manchester City, which represented the first major trophy in the club's history. Something which should have been a massive high point for the South London side. However, the off-season has been a turbulent one for Crystal Palace. The FA Cup victory typically secures a spot in the Europa League for the winners. However, with issues around multi-club ownership, it could be the case that Crystal Palace find themselves in the Conference League at the start of this UEFA season. This uncertainty around the club has really resulted in a rather quiet transfer window to this point. At the time of recording, they've managed to hold off interest in some of their bigger players like Eze, Wharton and Munoz, and they have only managed to make two new additions in goalkeeper Walter Benitez and in left-back Borna Sosa as a backup to the very capable Munoz. In contrast, however, Liverpool have had a rather barnstorming transfer window as they seek to retain the Premier League title this upcoming season. Trent Alexander-Arnold may be on his way out to Real Madrid, however he has been replaced by the more than capable Frimpong. On the other fullback position, Kurtz is coming in from Bournemouth to replace the ageing Andy Robertson, and Wirtz is coming back to aid the creativity in the final third and take some of the strain off Mohamed Salah. There's also the addition of Ekitike coming in to add some depth into those wide positions following the sad passing of Diogo Jota and the departure of Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich. With all of these moves, I think that Liverpool have really built a case for the best summer window I've seen in quite some time. When we take a look at the head-to-head records, the last time these sides played was on the final day of the season back in May. Liverpool had already secured the title by this point, so they weren't really fazed when Ismail Assar broke the deadlock within 10 minutes before Mohamed Salah levelled the score in the 84th minute. Whilst the draw is a bit of a disappointing note to end the season on, the Anfield faithful must be reminded they were down to 10 men for around about a third of the game thanks to Gravenberch's sending off. Longer term, the form has been pretty mixed. 1 win, 1 draw and 1 defeat for both sides across the last 3 competitive encounters. However, when we look a little bit longer term, Crystal Palace have won just 1 of the last 16 encounters between these sides, dating back to April of 2017. My prediction for today's game is that this fixture sees 2 sides with 2 different clouds over them. Crystal Palace have a cloud of uncertainty hanging over them with both respect to the UEFA Challenge, as they hope to secure Europa League football, and Eze being linked with Arsenal. This cloud has really created a difficult environment over Selhurst Park, and when we compare that to Liverpool, they've also had the dark cloud of grief over the city, but I think this will only serve to bind the squad together tighter. That, combined with a successful summer window, really makes me fancy them to pick up a trophy in the opening day of the season. I'm going to back Liverpool to win this one within the 90 minutes for a half stake to get the series off to hopefully a winning start. Before you leave today's video, I do have a goal to hit 1,000 subscribers by the time the World Cup comes around. So if you have found today's video helpful, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.